Alright guys, for the last time in 2025, it is race week. Let's have a look at the 5 drivers I'm paying special attention to at the season-ending Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Let's dive in. So the first one is going to be Yuki Tsunoda, because this is going to be, for now at least, his final race in Formula 1. It has been confirmed that he will be replaced by the number 2 entry on this list. We'll get to him very soon, but Yuki will be the test and reserve driver for the Red Bull Racing team in 2026. It has been a rough season for him for sure, but honestly, I think the biggest problem is the curse of that second seat, and the guy that's coming in to replace him, I'm not overly confident that he'll be able to do a job either, because it's not his fault. These are very talented drivers. Albon, Gasly, Perez, Tsunoda, Lawson all failed in that seat. I don't see why the new guy is going to be any different personally. But Tsunoda in Abu Dhabi, he's been a bit mixed, it's fair to say. He had his best performance at the track in 2021, scoring a 4th place in the AlphaTauri, a really good performance by him. Since then, it's been a bit mixed. He's finished out of the points sometimes, he's finished in the points sometimes. Honestly, with how his form's been in 2025, he's probably not going to finish in the points this weekend, but anything that he can do will of course help out in terms of point scoring for Red Bull in the Constructors' Championship as they look to chase down Mercedes for that second spot. It's a tall order for them to be able to do it though, but we'll see how they get on. Number 2, Isack Hadjar. Now I'm highlighting him because he is going to be a Red Bull Racing driver next year. It's been heavily rumoured ever since the summer break, and I think really the result that signed, sealed and delivered, that was his incredible podium finish at the Dutch Grand Prix earlier this season. Hadjar is still a rookie, of course, as his first season in Formula 1, but he's not got the best memories of Abu Dhabi, of course this being the scene of him stalling off the line and losing the Formula 2 championship to Gabriel Bortoleto last season. He'll look to put those bad memories to bed though, and of course he's going to be celebrating come what may this weekend. Racing Bulls of course are in a battle to get 6th place in the Constructors' Championship with the likes of Haas, the likes of Aston Martin and the likes of Sauber as well. They look like the heavy favourites to be able to complete that though, and it would be a fine season if they managed to convert that this weekend in Yas Marina. Hadjar of course was on for a very good finish at the Qatar Grand Prix, but suffered a late puncture to end his hopes of points in Losail. Now, the last 3 drivers, just like with Qatar, are going to be the 3 championship contenders, and we'll go in reverse order for the championship as it stands right now. So that means we start with arguably the driver in form out of the 3 of them, Oscar Piastri. Of course, Piastri was absolutely incredible in Losail, making it 3 victories in a row around the sprint race in Qatar. He was probably going to win the Grand Prix on Sunday as well, but unfortunately a terrible McLaren strategic call. Have they got the new Ferrari strategist in their team? And I've not noticed. Either way, it was an absolutely brainless move by McLaren, and it cost them big time to Max Verstappen and Red Bull. Piastri did an excellent job to be able to chase down Verstappen in the closing stages, but he didn't really get that close in the end. I'm sure he was about 8 seconds off by the finish, if not even more. Piastri was very downtrodden after that. He did everything right from his end, and it should have been a clean sweep of sprint and Grand Prix victory. As it is, he has an outside shot of winning the World Championship. He has to hope that his teammate Lando Norris finishes outside the top 5 on Sunday, and also has to outscore Max Verstappen by a number of points as well. He's going to have to hope realistically to win, and hope that Verstappen and Norris are well down the order, both of which are probably unlikely, but we'll see what happens. Next, let's talk about Max Verstappen. He has won many times around Abu Dhabi. In fact, he won 4 times in a row between 2020 and 2023, making him one of the most successful drivers in the history of the event. Of course, he won his first World Championship here in totally not controversial circumstances in 2020. I can't even say that with a straight face. One of the most controversial Grand Prix of all time, but it wasn't Max's fault, despite what some people try and say. Either way, of course, he'll be going for a 5th World Championship in a row, something that only the great Michael Schumacher managed previously between the year 2000 and 2004. Max, of course, has won the previous 2 Grand Prix in Qatar and also Las Vegas, but he had a pretty torrid time here 12 months ago, albeit the championship was already wrapped up for him by that point, but he did have contact between himself and who else was it? Oscar Piastri, I do believe, of course. So if we see a repeat of that, that could very much hand the chance to Lando Norris when it comes to victory. But Max is probably going to be the favourite for the victory, but he also has to hope, even if he wins, that Lando Norris finishes outside of the podium places, something that he did of course do in Qatar, finishing 4th overall behind my boy Carlos Sainz for Williams. By the way, how cool is this Williams shirt? One of my many purchases in Black Friday. I do like this one, to be fair, very retro. But anyway, let's look to the future, not the past, because let's talk about Lando Norris, the 5th and final driver on this list. Like I said, if he finishes in the podium positions, he is champion no matter what. But if he finishes outside the top 3, he has to hope that Max Verstappen does not win the Grand Prix. And he's also got to be wary with Oscar Piastri too. McLaren have, of course, come out and said that they will not support either driver when it comes to this. They are free to race and they will get equal treatment. Something that could of course cost them big time when it comes to the final results if Max Verstappen manages to sweep in. And like I've said before the Qatar Grand Prix, this would be one of the biggest fumbles, not in Formula 1 history, but sporting history as well, if they don't win the Drivers' Championship as well. Although in Lando Norris's favour, he did win here 12 months ago to clinch the Constructors' Championship for McLaren, so he does have good form here. And in terms of allowing Oscar Piastri to be able to get the World Championship, he hasn't finished outside of the top 5 since the Azerbaijan Grand Prix back in September. But will Lando do it? If I had to put money on it, I think he probably will. I think it's going to be the championship contenders in the top 3 for this Grand Prix, but you can't discount the likes of Mercedes, the likes of even Ferrari, well maybe Ferrari after Qatar, the likes of Williams of course getting a podium recently too. If they mess up the strategy again, McLaren, Red Bull and Max Verstappen will be right in there, but for me, it's more than likely going to be Lando or Verstappen. I give Piastri about a 10% chance of being able to do it, but come what may, he'll be very happy with his performance overall this season, I do think, although of course he will be disappointed initially with losing out on the World Championship, given the lead he had earlier in the season. But what are your thoughts, guys? Who is going to win the World Championship this weekend? I did a separate video earlier this week going over all the permutations when it comes to the points as well. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you want to see more like this, and let's hope for a fantastic Abu Dhabi Grand Prix this weekend, guys. I'm going to miss Formula 1 while it's away, but I'm sure it's going to be a classic on Sunday around Yas Marina.